Nigeria, the most populous black nation in the universe, is home to over 200 million people with more than 250 ethnic groups speaking 500 languages. Situated between the Sahel to the north and Gulf of Guinea to the south, and covering an area of 923,769 square kilometers, Nigeria is richly endowed with human and natural resources. With an estimated nominal GDP of $504.203 billion, Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy, ahead of Egypt and South Africa. The country also has a large crude oil deposit, mainly in the Niger Delta region. With an estimated oil production of over 1.67 million barrels per day, Nigeria is the third largest oil producer in Africa, just behind Libya and Angola, according to OPEC figures for February 2023. The West African nation boasts of a thriving movie industry in the world, just behind India's Bollywood and America's Hollywood. Worth an estimated $6.4 billion, the Nigerian Nollywood industry, as it is professionally called, produces over 2,500 films annually. Just like Nollywood, Nigeria is home to some of the best musical artists on the planet. These artists have succeeded in exporting their craft across the globe, raking in awards, collaborations, and millions of dollars through endorsements, live shows, and online streams. The likes of Burna Boy, Wizkid, and Tems have won Grammy Awards for their contributions to the music industry. As stated earlier, Nigeria is a major crude oil producer in the world. The black gold, as it is fondly called, was first discovered in commercial quantity in Oloibiri, present-day Bayelsa, in 1956 by Shell BP, a British joint venture between petroleum companies Royal Dutch Shell and BP. Presently, the petroleum industry in Nigeria has a total of 159 oil fields and 1,481 wells in operation, according to the Department of Petroleum Resources. The most oil productive region of the nation is the coastal Niger Delta basin in the Niger Delta or South-South region, which encompasses 78 of the 159 oil fields. With discoveries in some northern states such as Bauchi, Gombe, Kogi, Borno, and Nasarawa, Nigeria's oil production is poised for an increase in the coming years. The oil and gas sector is Nigeria's major revenue earner, accounting for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of federal government revenue. It also provides 95% of foreign exchange earnings and about 65% of government budgetary revenues. One would have expected that with the abundance of rich oil deposits and other human and natural resources, Nigeria will be on the same page with the likes of China, United States of America, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Qatar in terms of development. But unfortunately, the reverse is the case based on all major indices of development. According to official figures, over 71 million Nigerians, representing 32% of the population, live in extreme poverty, while the unemployment rate is over 33%. The country also suffers from mass illiteracy, poor infrastructural facilities, and healthcare. Since 2009, Nigeria has battled with the Boko Haram insurgent, a radical Islamic terror group headquartered in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, with a strong presence in Yobe and other states in the northeast. According to official figures, over 35,000 have been killed, with millions displaced since Boko Haram launched its insurgency aimed at overthrowing Nigeria's secular government and establishing an Islamic state. Their tactics include killings, suicide bombings, abductions, torture, rape, forced marriages, and the recruitment of child soldiers, as well as attacks that are directed against government infrastructure, traditional and religious leaders, places of worship, and civilian population. The insurgents captured swaths of territories for years before being dislodged from most of these areas by the Nigerian armed forces. In the north central and northwest, violent clashes between heathen and farming communities, rooted in competition over scarce resources, have escalated, with bandits engaging in organized killings, kidnapping, and cattle rustling, leading to the death and displacement of hundreds of thousands of people in states like Benue, Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, and Plateau. In the eastern region, the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, a secessionist movement seeking a separate republic from the predominantly Igbo-speaking people of the southeast, have continued to launch pockets of attacks on government institutions in the region. The history of Biafra can be traced back to 30th May 1967, when the then Eastern Governor, Odumegwu Ojukwu, declared independence from Nigeria following a series of ethnic tensions and military coup after Nigeria's independence in 1960. Oil theft in the South-South region and other oil-producing states has resulted in massive oil spillage, environmental pollution, and loss of revenue accruable to the government. Between January to August 2022 alone, Nigeria lost over $2 billion to oil theft, according to official figures. It is also ironic that despite its large oil deposits, Nigerians still queue up for hours to buy fuel at very exorbitant rates, while the country's refineries are comatose, producing below capacity. It is also important to state that since the attainment of independence from Britain in 1960, Nigeria has battled with monumental corruption at all levels of society. Nigeria ranked 154 out of 180 countries according to the Corruption Perception Index report of 2022 released by Transparency International (TI). The loot stolen by former military dictator Sani Abacha is still being repatriated back to Nigeria, while several government officials have been indicted of one form of corruption or the other. All these challenges listed above, in addition to bad leadership, account for why Nigeria has been a shadow of itself for decades. With the huge potential available at its disposal, Nigeria should be the giant of Africa, a reference point for the continent and the black race. For Nigeria to assume its rightful place as a global player, where its human and natural resources will translate to infrastructural development, rapid industrialization, and provision of social goods, there must be a deliberate attempt to get the right set of leadership and structures that will propel it to become the giant of Africa, a global superpower. Do you think Nigeria can surmount all its challenges and become the giant of Africa? Please let us know through the comment section below. Don't also forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification icon to get new video updates. Until next time, thanks for watching.